Just outside the window is a valiant world. Get Valiant.
Number 178, and it's getting Valiant. What's happening, dudes?
The big 178.
Hanging out. The big 178 hanging out. Ready to talk about some rye.
Yes.
I need to figure out what the hell's wrong with my camera.
Oh.
I hate this iPad. Hating technology right now.
Oh, man, yeah. Technology is technology, dude. Sorry about that.
I might as well go back to being on my phone. That's how bad it is.
Yeah, I got a new setup up here. I'm upstairs instead of downstairs now, so that's fun.
Oh, yeah?
Nice.
But I still got my Bloodshot comics back here. I wish you could see them better. I suppose I should try to bring them closer.
I got a new chair. Love this chair.
I ain't got shit, okay?
What was that on Spaceballs, right? Remember when they're
like
using the pic?
shit.
We ain't found shit. Oh, that is. Yep. Yep. There you go.
I'm channeling that with my inner
Comb the
kid.
desert. Oh man! But on news, I guess they finally said a new book is coming in February with Savage. Did you guys see that?
Yes. So Savage is coming in February, and that wasn't the only one that was announced. I don't think we've done an episode since the last one was announced.
Yeah.
So Shadow Man's going to be in April.
Exactly.
So
we've got
what's going to happen in March?
Ooh.
that's
Well,
the
March
big
is,
one.
and they say March is usually the busy month, but Emerald City Comic Con just said they're going to do December, but you still have C2E2. So, and it's not like I really don't think a con is coming anyway. Early 2021. So,
Yeah. I know. I was actually really bummed when I saw that Emerald City moved their date because it's something I go to, and I can't go to a convention near Christmas. Those don't work out.
yeah, it's kind of in the Northwest, though. I mean, your cons here, Rose City Comic Con, which is usually September, and then there's usually an October one in Tacoma. Was called Jet City. It's going to be called Grit City now. I guess it just changed names. And then now you're going to have that. So 3 months of cons, right around here. Obviously, Emerald City is going to get the bulk of it, but that's a lot just all of a sudden. So
Yeah. But, going back to the Valiant's publishing schedule. So February, or not February, so February is going to be Savage, and if April's going to be Shadow Man. I know at one point it was rumored that Final Witness was going to come out in February, and I wonder if that's going to end up being a March release.
I mean, that'd be fine as long as we get books, right? Because eventually Bloodshot's going to be on the shelf again, or off the shelf, put away for a little bit after issue, is it number 10 or number 12? So not much more to go there because I think his last issue is going to be March. If it's 12, I think is what it is. So
yeah, I just wonder if this is Valiant's attempt at trying to build back up to a normal monthly publishing schedule.
Mm-hmm.
If they're going to start a launch in February, we know we have one in April. March has been, at least before, had always been that big month. We had Shadow Man, we had Exo Manowars under Kent. I'd love to see another book come out that month also, just because it does kind of give a little bit more I feel like it gives the readers a little more confidence in the company, just to be like, okay, we're gonna get back up there. We're gonna start doing this. Like, even if it's slowly, I think they have to do it. You gotta have that. You have to have that March book.
I definitely think that there's reason to hope that they're going to be ramping back up, because if we know that a title's coming in February, we know a title's coming in April, we know they usually do something in March. I wouldn't be surprised if they announce something for January.
But we've had January solicits already.
Yeah, I'm.
Oh, Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, with Bloodshot and XO, at least you got two of your heavy hitters in.
And the Rye trade, the second Rye trade.
And the second Rye trade, exactly. I mean, last year we had XO Man of War was last year's March. And seeing that, I mean, I would believe that they're going to announce a March one. If they announce Savage, you just got to think of the things that were previously announced in the past. And then I love the photo bombing in the background there. It's good. Special guest.
The better
it's good. I mean, but I know. I mean, they announced something in February. Savage. It's probably, like Eric said, Final Witness. Probably something that's already been announced as something, not a major announcement. Because then I think April we're getting we'll continue Shadow Man. So I think that'll be early April. I bet so.
Is it possible we get Harbinger?
No, they've said summer 2021.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you think about it, we already knew there's a bunch of books that they had tried to put out this year, and they had been derailed due to COVID and the pandemic. So I mean, maybe we get Ninjak, maybe we get the rest of the Visitor. I mean, it could be anything really. I mean, Harbinger makes sense for the summer, and maybe that gives it enough time to properly build it up. I feel like that might be a book that's going to need a little extra help as far as like getting the community on board with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think Harbinger will be a big one. But I know we've heard we've heard them talk about Archer and Armstrong. We haven't seen anything official per se, but I remember Matthew Klein posted on Twitter or something one time about it. So that's in the works too. So, and then I've also, believe that they said Bloodshot's not going to be on the off the shelf for long, that they already have a plan for him to come out right away. And that should be the case considering there might be a second movie.
Yeah, that was very unexpected news this week.
Yeah.
So it's going to explode with excitement, or
you son of a bitch.
We just didn't want you to spoil anything. So
that's it.
Okay. No, I don't even know what to say about it. If it seems like it's an extremely preliminary thing that's being said, and plans, and it may be something that's being planned on, but plans in Hollywood, unfortunately, can change, especially at a time like this, I'm sure. So I'm mitigating my excitement. I do think that if there is a second Bloodshot movie with Vin Diesel, I will be extremely excited about it. I don't think the first one was perfect, but I think it was good, and I'm definitely down to see more, especially like with them saying at the end, like, he can use his powers more, whatever, like, yeah, it'll be badass.
Yeah, so like here's my thought on it. Like if this does happen, if they do go ahead and proceed with a sequel to Bloodshot with Vin Diesel, they don't have to deal with a whole bunch of the origin. And I think they can actually fix a lot of the things that were wrong with the first movie. Namely, you see him as Bloodshot, like what we envision Bloodshot being, for about a minute. At the very, very end when it is nanites on her clock, giving him the pale skin, the red eyes. We can see a lot more of that, of a more traditional look, sans hair, within the movie. Like you don't have to just have it be a bunch of build up for a small ending. Also, I mean, you can really ramp up the action too, and I mean, that was one of my complaints with the movie, was that it just didn't have enough action beats throughout the entire film. Especially like when we meet Wiggins, like that could have been a really cool scene, but most of it's done from a computer showing the effects of his like body heat, on the computer. So, I mean, and we would hope that with a sequel, there would be the chance of having someone else from that universe pop up. Who knows on that, just with the way things are, just because like they're not keeping a lot of stuff at Sony. But I don't know. I mean, if they do it, I would actually be pretty optimistic about it, just because I do feel like they could fix a lot that was broken with it before, or not really broken, but a little bit bent.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, I know we've said it, that it's kind of sad that COVID hit with it, but it's really actually paid off for the movie right now. Being one of the few action movies that really came out in 2021, that was, released. They've held off on, I believe, Wonder Woman, a number of books or movies that were supposed to come out late this year that have been held out because of COVID. And I think it actually has helped it a lot. So,
yeah,
It's performed well. I remember hearing at one point that it was the most pirated movie for a little while there. So people were watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like the #1 movie on Amazon Video for rentals. I want to say it was like a #1 in Blu-ray sales, like at least the week it came out. I mean, it's had some success, and a lot of it probably is due to the fact that we did have the pandemic. But it was like the #1 movie the weekend it came out, even though there was like no one in theaters. But still, I mean, like I'm glad there's enough success for it that this is even a possibility.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm right there with Scott Bloom. Basically, he's right here saying this. He actually read the audiobook. I actually read the book and got the audiobook. And again, the book was really good. There was a lot of details that weren't in the movie that were in the book that weren't in the movie.
That was the one thing.
Yeah.
That's one thing I took away. Like, the book has more details than the movie ended up having, and that, I think, like, they actually get called Chainsaw.
Mm-hmm. They get called Chainsaw. You get to see that the woman Gina has kids, and he believes they're his kids, and I mean, you just get a lot more little details about what's going through his head. You get that internal dialogue that goes through, Bloodshot's head within the book that you don't get in the movie. Yeah, to a lot of that was just really good to see. A lot more details, a lot more jokes too. Seems like they were cutting more jokes, but Wiggins wasn't quite the character in the book though. So that was one of the differences that I noticed. But then there was a couple other funny characters that were in the little like war room that they were in when they were monitoring Bloodshot during the action scenes and when he was out doing missions. So,
that reminds me, I have totally forgotten to buy the book of Bloodshot, so I need to fix that at a future point.
Yeah,
I recommend the audiobook. It's really, really good.
Is there anyone cool doing the audio?
It's not like a famous person, but it's done really well.
Oh, okay. Maybe maybe I can pull that off.
I definitely recommend it to you and to anybody who hasn't checked it out yet. If you're a fan of the movie, I think listening to the audiobook is a really good experience.
Oh, so, that's Scott Bloom said it was in the top 5 on iTunes forever. That's pretty rad.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's pretty legit. It's weird that he announced #2, and we haven't got any more news on Harbinger, but it's said that Harbinger's the case. And I think the big part of the news is that he basically said that Vin Diesel's back for it too. So I think when you're throwing a name like that, you would hope that there's some validity within that. And if there's not, that doesn't look good, as that could pose difficulty when trying to get cast in the future. If you're basically saying things inaccurate that are, but I'm sure it's Hollywood. Happens all the time, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's why with a lot of this stuff, I try to remain optimistic, just because I don't feel like people are just going to be throwing that shit out there and be like, hey, he's going to be back. If there's like 0 chance he's going to be back, they wouldn't be doing it, And I get that people don't like Dan Mintz. It's understandable that people don't like him. But at the same time, it's just like I was saying on Valiant Comic Fans, if I had so much of a problem with the guy, I couldn't continue to be a fan of even this stuff,
Right.
And for me, it's just like I have to look at the things that he's saying and just being like optimistic and giving him the shadow of a doubt, or a benefit of the doubt, whatever. But it's just sometimes it's just like anytime he pops up, we're all negative to it. But at some point, man, like I just feel like I can't just hate for the sake of hating, because then I might as well not even be here talking about the Valiant books. I wouldn't be buying them.
But you know what's funny is how much we loved them after the DMG Chinese announcement and things like that. How much it was all love that DMG is all up in there, right? I think we're upset about what happened within the prior leadership of Valiant as far as the publishing side, but everybody was super excited when DMG was announced that they were kind of coming on as partners for the media side of it.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's interesting. Just that piece of it made a big difference in people's thoughts about what happened. But you know, we haven't seen what he's really going to be able to capable of within producing these movies. You know, movies of Bloodshot itself still had original leadership involved with it. So, you know, the guy hasn't had a chance on that really. So
we'll see what happens. I'm kind of in the same boat as Josh. I'm going to be optimistic about it. And I also am going to be understanding that sometimes things are planned that don't work out. And so if it doesn't work out, I'm not going to be that upset about it. You know, yeah. I'm not thinking that it's 100% positive that this is going to happen. I'm thinking this is something that's being planned. And yeah, plans can fall through sometimes, and I'll be able to live with that. But if it does happen, that's going to be badass.
Oh, yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
Hey, you know what? If it doesn't happen, you know, like at the very least, we can all have a little bit of fun speculating like who would be the next Bloodshot, you know?
Yeah.
So come on, Tom Hardy, you know? Why not?
Tom Hardy. Oh, I'm sure there are a lot of people that could do it justice.
Leonardo DiCaprio. You heard it here first, kids.
Daniel Day.
The dude who was McLovin.
Dude, just get him on some role. Yeah. I didn't think Daniel Day-Lewis. Anyway. And that's all I could think of news. Anything on you guys else you could think? Savage in February, and then Bloodshot in the theaters near you next week.
Next week. It's happening. Yeah, I mean, knowing that we've got those two books coming is awesome, and it really does feel like something's going to be coming in March, and that really makes me think that we're going to see a ramping up of their publishing schedule. And even if something doesn't come in March, it still is two number ones coming pretty close together. So it seems like, you know, a good bet that we're going to get more books coming. So that's exciting. It's unfortunate Bloodshot's ending. But Rye's pretty good.
Rye is pretty good. So, honest, Dan Abnett, continue to do it. Juan Jose Rip, Andrew Dahlhaus, creative team is still pretty damn special. So,
oh, you're not going to do the blank when I try to talk.
Why would I do that, Eric? Why would I do that?
Well, spoiler alert. Yep.
Anything else? You're going to spoil the crap out of it.
I did want to say, spoiler alert. So, yeah, I would agree that this creative team is still just killing it. There's so many details in this story. I really think that we're getting this like multi-layered story going on. Having Spylock, that whole story going on, Rye going off and having a conversation with Fusion, and then what's going on with Alice and Raijin, like all these different things going on. This was like not an action-packed book, but a lot happened. It felt really dense. It felt like a really good read. I felt like I got my money's worth on this issue. Like so much was going on. Yeah, that just That's something that I really enjoy, that it was that much going on and it didn't get jumbled. And every storyline is really intriguing right now. Obviously, there's more to come, but yeah, I don't know what else to say about it than that as far as the story. And the art is just phenomenal. You can't really say.
Yeah. So I was really impressed with this. What's the bad guy's name in this? Fusion? Is that his name?
Yeah, Fusion.
So the fact that he kind of comes off at the very beginning as being a little bit more powerful than Rai, and he explains to Rai everything that's going on, where he's like, I'm two of the offspring. I've got control, which may or may not, but I feel like it was kind of doomed from the beginning of it. But the fact that there's a lot of stuff kind of going on with this new the fact that all these positrons hate humans, which is a kind of a nice twist upon the original part of it, where humans were very judgmental and positrons would torture them and kill them for sport. And here, where they've got this weird infestation of the land, the fact that they see humans as like the cause of that, and that they kind of pulled Rai away from Raijin and Alice. Is that right? I like that part of the story. I like where that went. I kind of a little the whole thing with Bloodshot and Spylock, I kind of felt like I saw that coming, but society of was against humans. So I mean, but even saying I can kind of see it coming. I just feel like it was, that has to be where it would go. Not like it was just like choreographed necessarily, but I just feel like that's where the story kind of has to go to keep it intriguing, to keep the threat of father alive. You kind of have to have him kind of out there, trying to trick people into getting him back into play. But this was just such a great issue. I mean, even with that, I'm not saying that part in a negative way, but the whole thing with Fusion and New and everything that's going on there, I just thought this was an awesome issue.
Yeah, absolutely. And Juan Jose Rip never takes a panel off, which is, you love that on his art. They're so in depth. I'm going through scenes where they're just walking in this building, in this little commune that that's been built here, and it's really cool view of it. Makes you love each page, makes you excited to get to each page. But yeah, on Josh, I mean, clearly, or Chief Ortaka saw it coming. Is that right, Ortaka? And yeah. I love his potty mouth. Oh, I love it. Yeah. And that just makes it. I almost wish that they weren't all blurred out sometimes.
Yes.
If his vulgarity is amazing, or its vulgarity, I don't know. But yeah, there's that. There's parts where, I think I mentioned this before, what Lula's 16 years old, right? And it's just not accurate to her age. Sometimes it makes, I don't know, she's like this ultra leadership. I know that she was part of with Rai doing a lot of war since the beginning of Rai, of 4001. And I believe that this is set 4002, and it's just, she's taken over, right? And not much training, but she is Spylock, and it's kind of better on that, and kind of looks like she got caught a little bit here, that others had saw this kind of as a trap. But I wouldn't be surprised if she had her own, connection on it. This may be a little bit too easy. And so I think that we're going to see something in the next issue or so of her having some plan of something that's to come, expecting things like that of Father. So wouldn't be surprised if we see something to that degree coming soon. And then,
that's totally what I was thinking.
Yeah. And then going back to Raijin, I mean, he was originally an orphan in the original Rai, and so he would be part human too. And so that's part that's still kind of, I question on that with him. But I love the way he sticks up for Alice. I love the way he's, he's basically being her ally in this situation, which is really cool to see that. So I dig that piece. And then I dig Rai's kind of playing coy too. His you thought you had me, You know what I mean? You have no idea, and then they live it on a good piece at the end of just Rye, getting ready to hand Fusion his ass. So
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was such a great last page to leave this issue off with.
Well, and that's what we got in the last issue too, right? Was when Fusion took Rye's sword between panels and was suddenly on him. That was a big deal because we had gotten Rye built up so much as being this so fast you can't even see him move kind of guy, and for someone to get the upper hand on him, that's a big deal. So it's going to be interesting to see how the fight goes down, because it seems like at the very least Rise met his match, but maybe he was just playing into it and let Fusion think that he was faster. I don't know, but even Raijin seemed to think that he could be outmatched. So that's going to be really interesting to see. It's really cool because we think of Rai as being this superior being, right? And so seeing him go up against his equal is pretty cool, and having it be, believable and doesn't feel forced. Yeah, I don't know. I thought that is being set up really well from the way it left in the last issue to where we're at now.
And how many more of the offsprings are out there? I mean, has that really been stated? I believe it said it in the first issue or the end of Fallen
I thought
World.
there was like a dozen.
There was like a dozen, and how many did he need to regenerate?
I think that
any one doesn't need one even to have any kind of chance to come back.
I think it's like he needs 8 or 12 or something like that to regenerate. So there must be more than a dozen out there.
Well, I don't know. I know that Rai has taken out at least 3, if that's correct. And then Fusion is 2 of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so there's definitely been an amount that there. I mean, I'm curious to what that would be. I mean, I feel like they'll get Raijin to kind of throw that out there in one of these issues to kind of get an idea. I do think that they're missing a little bit on catching people up in the first page that they used to do a lot more in previous Valiant books, kind of giving you here's where we're at so far. And we're kind of missing that a little bit. So if this is somebody's very first book coming on, and I would say after COVID, that would be even more of a need with the books. And I guess that's probably going too far ahead right now. We could talk after we score, but I feel like that's something that would be needed in a book that has been off or had a break because of COVID. And people kind of may not remember where it was if they're just picking it up for the first time.
Yeah. Something Valiant was always really good at is making it possible for any of their books to be your first. Mm-hmm. So I think having that catching you up would definitely be a good thing. But this was a great issue. I've been thinking about how to score it, and I'm not exactly sure where I want to fall. I don't think that this was, it was a good issue. It wasn't as good as issue 2, for example, which was an absolutely phenomenal issue. So I don't think I can, give it a perfect score. I think that it is a solid 4.5, though. This is what you want out of a comic book. This is an intriguing story. It's got so many different elements to it, so much going on, and just from across the board on the creative team, you're getting high quality storytelling.
For me, it's not a perfect issue, but it's a really good issue. I love the action in it. I love a little bit of the intrigue of it. And I think that even though sometimes it's kind of hard, not too often, but it's a little hard sometimes with how much story we can get with the way stories are decompressed nowadays. I thought that this issue had a good balance of what's going on with Rai, what's going on with Raijin, the whole stuff with Spylock. I thought nothing dominated too much. It was kind of the perfect fit for where we're at in the story, which, I mean, we got a really experienced writer, Dan Abnett, handling the book. I would probably go 4.5 on this. I think it's really good. The art, there's never been an issue with the art, and I think a good sign of this book is that every time I read an issue of it, I'm just like, when do I get the next one? I just feel like, this should be the book that the fans rally around, just because the quality is there, the story is there. Everybody should be reading it.
It leaves you wanting more for sure.
Yeah.
Everything you guys said, again, art's there, story's there, and it's definitely it has you ready to see what's going to happen. I think we only got one more issue. I think that's kind of, how do we summarize? How does he wrap this up in just one more issue? I see how he could wrap up the fusion section, but how does he wrap up this whole full father story and the and all of the just everything he's looking for, right? How does he wrap up the Raijin story? How does he connect that? Because I mean, the previous conversations was he was going to kill Raijin when it's all said and done. Getting back to Eternal Warrior and the Geomancer and War Mother, 4002 has just got so much that I hope, like we've all said, Josh, I know you've said it a lot, is we got to keep a book in that time era, because it's good with story. It's very rich, and it's a very good sandbox to play in with it. So I hope that continues to happen. I would be giving this one, probably a 4.25 or 4.25. I do think that it would have been hard for a new reader to jump on. Would have liked the front page to give us that, that quick synopsis of what's happened prior, what got us to this page. But I know where we're at, so I'm fine with it. But I'm just thinking about that in somebody else's point of view, that could be difficult. But I dug it. I dug it all the way around. I continue to like this book. And again, what happens number 10? How does this conclude? Maybe that's the book in March, is whatever concludes from this.
Oh,
I hope.
dude, that would be amazing. I would be extremely down for that.
Yeah. Make it happen. Powers that be, make it happen.
Yeah, right now. Do it.
Yep. And then I guess Father is still portraying himself as Bloodfather, right? So
yeah,
is he's still owning that body and everything for the most part, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I thought it was weird within the computer screen how he projects as Bloodfather still, and when Spylock and Lulu whatever was right there, because that's not what he looked like in the prior run. So
yeah,
but he's basically riding Bloodshot's body. So yeah.
Yeah. I think he looks pretty badass. So I'm stoked to see more of him in the next issue.
Yep.
Yeah. I
Done.
think such a good book. It's such a consistent book. Every issue of this is so solid, and and you can go all the way back to Fallen World, right? Like, the point that I wanted to touch on that you were talking about is how diverse and full of potential 4002 is, because that's what Fallen World showed us. Like, Rye's been a great Rye book, and there's a little bit more going on than just Rye. But Fallen World felt like you got there was so much going on in that book that it just proved, you have an enormous amount of potential there. You could have 2 or 3 books running a month just set in that world and not overlap and not be boring. Let alone, so even having just one, I think there's so much rich potential there that it's worth doing.
Agreed. And man, it'll just stink if after this arc, if we're done with Rye for a while, because I feel like they're gonna leave it in a good place. I feel like Dan Abnett will leave the character in a good place, where like the next person who picks it up isn't gonna have that hard of a time continuing those adventures. But man, it'll just stink, that this book, it'll make a nice deluxe. I will say that.
If they put it together with Fallen World and that, yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
That absolutely. You're 100% right there.
Yeah. I just think that some of those issues of this run, I mean, this has been a great run. That's where I will leave it. No matter what happened with it, it's been a great run. And there have been some really memorable issues within this, especially that issue 2 where they went against the house. Like, how cool of a book, And I mean, I don't know. I hate having this conversation because I feel like every time we review Rye, I complain about how not enough people read it and how I'm going to be pissed off when it's gone. So, yeah. Broken record here.
Yep.
I'm with you, though.
Yeah, at any given time, this is a good book regardless of when it came out. And again, how it jumped off of 4001 AD and right into where we're at with Fallen World, where we're into this. It hasn't skipped a beat, which is actually really awesome. You could read all of them together, and it goes well within the story. So, yeah, people need to read it. And Dan, I hope, gets to work on something else, maybe Bloodshot.
Bad eggs, yes.
That's Elliot, man. We gotta get Elliot Rahal. He says he's got something ready, a picture ready. So,
man, he's not going to be slumming it at Valiant anymore. Are you kidding me?
Oh, he's got a new vault book out.
That guy's going places, man.
Drop 'em Dead is one that just got announced for him. So good for him.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Good for him. So, and I think he's got a couple other vault books and stuff out right now too. So, or Aftershock, I think is what it is. Not just he has a vault book. And I think he's got an Aftershock book. So
yeah,
good for him.
Mm-hmm.
Guy's a great story writer. Yeah. I don't know what's next with Valiant or with Bloodshot. I mean, but I'm looking forward to finding out what happens next in this story, and then whatever comes after this story. I would definitely be down for Dan Abnett to be involved. But we have so much coming. We have so much coming right now with knowing that Shadow Man has an official release time frame, knowing that we're probably getting a book in March, knowing that Savage is coming in February.
Fingers crossed on a March book.
Yeah, hopefully something is coming. But even if not, it does feel like it's really likely that the line is beefing up a little bit. We know we got EXO coming. So
that's our next book release on the 25th of this month.
Yeah, I've actually.
Well, I was to say, speaking of that EXO book, we are going to be doing a giveaway.
That's right. It's a fantastic, beautiful, shiny giveaway.
Yeah, nice golden one.
Gold.
Golden number 2, so it's a golden turd. Number 2. Issue number 2, Gold EXO, which is going to be pretty rare.
In the bush here, but basically, yes, EXO number 2. Valiant has been nice enough to donate a copy of their gold book because there's no conventions, and how else are you going to get one? Unless you Get Valiant and tune in for our episode where we discuss EXO Manowar issue 2.
Yes.
One viewer will win.
One viewer. That's all we got right now. So you got a good chance, but let's make sure that you're sharing and tweeting and loving our stuff. So we appreciate it. So.
Yeah.
I mean, Scott Bloom is not going to complain if he's the only one watching live and he wins.
Right. It might happen. We might get 2 people, though. So 50-50 chance then. So and our name gets to go in the hat, too, though. Because we're here.
Yeah.
Yep. Everybody. But no, I think that's awesome. I think we got that coming out. EXO Manowar. Bloodshot is starting its new arc. Right? Remember, I believe it's number 10, and that's in January.
Yeah.
So there, and then we're going to wrap up EXO or Rye on December 16th with number 10 as well. So lots in store for Valiant stuff. So yeah.
definitely looking forward to everything that's coming. Can't wait to see the last arc, or what I assume is the last arc of the Tim Seeley run. That's been really, really good. So I'm definitely looking forward to what's coming there. Yeah, can't wait for the next stuff to come out. And
yeah,
see what that March book is going to be.
And semi Valiant related, but not Valiant related. Semi Get Valiant related, but not Get Valiant related. Is Friday. I am going to be on with Ryan Wynn talking about his Kickstarter and kind of expansion of Gods and Gears. And we're going to talk about Hammerella. Ryan is known for doing a little Valiant work over with Divinity, A&A. Gosh, you name it. He's kind of been on it for a while. Ryan's super awesome guy. So he's got a couple more days left on that Kickstarter. So Indiegogo, Hammerella. He's getting close to getting it funded. So we're talking him. Probably going to be some Valiant talk on that. So
awesome. That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to that. Ryan is awesome. So that's really cool that you're doing that with him and getting the word out.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, but we'll get the word out on EXO #2 Gold.
Gold. Thanks everybody for watching, for listening, supporting us and supporting Valiant. If you do like us, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know when we go live. As we do, we're definitely open for people to come and join us and be part of the conversation. Hopefully people are pre-ordering your books so that the stores know to buy them, and we can continue getting more Valiant comics and great stories. So thanks everybody for watching and listening. We will see you guys next time we talk about EXO. Signing off, I'm Eric Bongard.
I'm Josh Rathbun.
And I'm Hooser.
You guys all stay Valiant.